Hello my friends, welcome back to our channel. Today, we have a simple story, an easy story, a powerful story. This is the story of Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo was not born rich. He was not born powerful. He was not born famous. But one day, he became one of the greatest minds in history. How did this happen? Today, you will listen, you will learn. And your English will improve. Please relax, listen slowly, and enjoy the story. Let us begin. Leonardo da Vinci is one of the most famous people in history. But his life did not start with greatness, it started very simple. Leonardo da Vinci was born in the year 1452. He was born in a small village in Italy. The village was called Vinci. Italy was very different at that time. There were no cars, there were no computers. There was no electricity. Life was slow, life was simple. Leonardo was born outside of marriage. This was difficult at that time. Many people looked down on him. His family was not rich, but they were not very poor. Leonardo lived close to nature. He saw trees, he saw animals, he saw rivers and mountains. From a very young age, Leonardo was curious. He asked many questions. Why does the bird fly? How does water move? Why is the sky blue? Other children played games. Leonardo watched the world. He watched insects. He watched birds. He watched people. He liked to draw what he saw. He drew animals. He drew faces. He drew plants. Leonardo did not just look. He observed. He wanted to understand everything. Leonardo did not go to a normal school. He did not learn Latin. He did not study like rich children. But he learned in another way. He learned by watching. He learned by drawing. He learned by thinking. His father noticed something special. Leonardo's father saw his drawings. They were beautiful. They were detailed. His father believed in him. When Leonardo was about 14 years old, his father took him to Florence. Florence was a great city. It was full of art. It was full of ideas. Florence was the heart of the Renaissance. The Renaissance was a time of new thinking. People started to study art again. People started to study science again. Leonardo entered a workshop. The workshop belonged to a famous artist. His name was Andrea del Verrocchio. This was a turning point in Leonardo's life. In the workshop, Leonardo learned many skills. He learned how to draw. He learned how to paint. He learned how to sculpt. But that was not all. He learned how to mix colors. He learned how to use light. He learned how to show emotion. Leonardo worked very hard. He cleaned brushes. He prepared paint. He watched the master carefully. Slowly, his skills grew. One day, Leonardo helped paint part of a picture. He painted an angel. The angel was so beautiful that people said Leonardo was better than his teacher. This was a big moment. Leonardo understood something important. He was not just an artist. He was a thinker. He was a creator. He was a learner. Leonardo loved learning new things. He studied the human body. He studied muscles. He studied bones. He opened bodies to see inside. This was dangerous. But he wanted knowledge. He filled notebooks with drawings. He wrote everything down. He wrote from right to left. This was his secret way of writing. Leonardo was different. He did not finish many paintings. He moved from one idea to another. His mind was always busy, always thinking, always imagining. Leonardo did not want to be famous. He wanted to understand the world. This curiosity would change history, but his journey was just beginning. In the next part, Leonardo will grow into a master artist. He will paint works that the world will never forget, and his ideas will go far beyond art. Leonardo da Vinci was now a young man. He lived in the beautiful city of Florence. Florence was not an ordinary city. It was full of art. It was full of ideas. It was full of creative people. Artists, thinkers, and writers lived there. People talked about beauty, science, and life. Leonardo felt happy in Florence. This city inspired him. Every day, He worked in the workshop. He painted, he drew, he learned. Leonardo did not rush, he worked slowly. He wanted everything to be perfect. He studied light, he studied shadow, he studied faces. Leonardo believed that a face tells a story. A small smile, a sad eye, a quiet look. He wanted to show real emotion in his art. Leonardo was different from other artists. Many artists painted from imagination. Leonardo painted from observation. He watched people in the street. He watched old men. He watched young children. He watched how people smiled. He watched how people cried. Then he drew them. Leonardo carried notebooks everywhere. He drew hands. He drew eyes. He drew noses and mouths. He wanted to understand the human face. Slowly, Leonardo became famous in Florence. People said, "He is very talented. He sees things differently." Leonardo received many requests. People asked him to paint portraits. They asked him to design buildings. They asked him to create machines. Leonardo said yes to many things. Sometimes he said yes to many things. Leonardo had a problem. He started many projects, but he did not finish all of them. His mind was full of ideas. New ideas came every day. Sometimes he stopped one painting to start another drawing, but when he finished something, it was beautiful. One day, Leonardo began working on a portrait. This portrait would become the most famous painting in the world. The woman in the painting was calm. She was quiet. She was mysterious. Her smile was soft, not big, not clear. People looked at the painting and felt something strange. This painting was called the Mona Lisa. Leonardo worked on this painting for years. He did not hurry. He changed small details again and again. The eyes, the smile, the light. Leonardo wanted the painting to feel alive. Even today, people ask, "Why is she smiling? What is she thinking?" This mystery made the painting famous. But Leonardo did not paint only portraits. He also painted large wall paintings. One of the most important was The Last Supper. This painting showed Jesus and his students. They were sitting at a table. Leonardo chose a special moment. The moment when Jesus says, "One of you will betray me." The faces show shock, fear, anger, sadness. Each face is different. Leonardo studied people carefully to paint these emotions. He wanted the viewer to feel the moment. Painting The Last Supper was not easy. Leonardo tried a new painting method, but this method was not strong. Over time, the painting started to fade. But even today, people can feel its power. Leonardo became very famous, but he was not rich. He often needed money. He often looked for work. Leonardo was not only an artist, he was also an inventor. He designed machines. He designed flying devices. He designed war machines. Many of these machines were never built, but the ideas were amazing. Leonardo believed that humans could fly. He studied birds. He studied wings. He drew flying machines hundreds of years before airplanes. Leonardo also studied the human body. He wanted to know how muscles work, how bones move. He secretly opened human bodies. This was dangerous and illegal, but he wanted truth. He drew the heart. He drew the brain. He drew the bones. His drawings were very accurate. Even modern doctors respect his work. Leonardo's mind never rested. Art, science, nature, machines. Everything was connected for him. But life in Florence changed. Political problems started. Money became a problem. Leonardo decided to leave Florence. He looked for new opportunities. He was ready for a new chapter. His journey would take him to new cities, new rulers, and new challenges. But wherever he went, Leonardo carried one thing with him: his curiosity and his desire to understand the world. Leonardo da Vinci was not only an artist. He was also a thinker. He was also an inventor. Leonardo always asked questions. How does this work? Why does this move? What is inside? His mind was always active. He was always thinking. Leonardo carried notebooks everywhere. He wrote his ideas down, he drew pictures, he made plans. These notebooks were very important. Inside them, there were thousands of drawings. There were ideas about machines. There were ideas about nature. There were ideas about the human body. Leonardo did not write like other people. He wrote from right to left. This is called mirror writing. Some people think he did this to keep his ideas secret. Some people think it was easier for him. Leonardo studied machines very deeply. He wanted to understand how things move. He studied wheels, gears, levers. He believed that simple parts can create powerful machines. Leonardo designed many machines. He designed machines for war. He designed machines for work. He designed machines for the future. Some of his ideas were very strange. He drew a machine that could fly. He drew a machine that could go underwater. He drew a machine that looked like a tank. At that time, these ideas were impossible. People did not have the technology, but Leonardo imagined the future. Leonardo was especially interested in flying. He watched birds carefully. He watched how wings move. He studied feathers. He studied air. Leonardo believed humans could fly. He drew flying machines with wings. He drew a flying machine with spinning blades. This machine looks like a helicopter today. Leonardo also studied water. He watched rivers. He watched rain. He wanted to understand how water flows. He designed canals. He designed ways to control floods. Leonardo believed water was very powerful. Leonardo also studied the human body. He wanted to know how it works. He studied bones. He studied muscles. He studied organs. He opened human bodies to see inside. This was very dangerous. It was not allowed. But Leonardo wanted truth. He drew the heart. He drew the lungs. He drew the brain. His drawings were very clear. They were very accurate. Even today, doctors admire his work. Leonardo believed that art and science were not separate. For him, they were one. To draw a body well, you must understand the body. To draw movement, you must understand muscles. Leonardo also studied nature. He studied plants. He studied trees. He studied rocks. He believed nature follows rules. If you understand the rules, you understand the world. Leonardo did not like routine. He did not like to do the same thing every day. One day he painted. The next day he designed a machine. The next day he studied anatomy. This made him unique, but this also caused problems. Leonardo started many projects. He did not finish many of them. People sometimes got angry. They said, he is slow. He changes his mind too much. But Leonardo did not work for speed. He worked for understanding. Leonardo needed support. He needed protection. He needed money. So he worked for powerful people. He worked for kings. He worked for rulers. One of them was the Duke of Milan. Leonardo wrote a famous letter. In the letter, he said, I can build machines. I can design weapons. I can build bridges. I can paint. This letter got him a job. In Milan, Leonardo worked as an artist, an engineer, a designer. He planned buildings. He planned festivals. He planned machines. Leonardo's life was busy. His mind was full. He slept little. He worked a lot. But he was happy because he was learning. Leonardo believed one important idea: learning never ends. He believed curiosity is the key. As long as you ask questions, you are alive. Leonardo's ideas were far ahead of his time. People did not always understand him, but history would understand him later. His notebooks would become famous. His ideas would inspire the future. Leonardo was not just living in his time. He was living hundreds of years ahead, and his journey was not finished yet. In the next part, Leonardo will work for kings and travel to new places. His life will change again. Leonardo da Vinci was now a famous man. People knew his name. People knew his talent. But Leonardo still needed work. He still needed money. He still needed protection. In those times, artists worked for powerful people. They worked for kings. They worked for dukes. They worked for rich families. Leonardo understood this very well. He knew that to continue his work, he needed strong support. One of the most important people Leonardo worked for was the Duke of Milan. The Duke was powerful. He wanted strong cities. He wanted beautiful art. Leonardo came to Milan with many ideas. He did not come only as a painter, he came as an engineer. He came as a designer, he came as a thinker. Leonardo helped the Duke in many ways. He designed buildings. He planned defenses, he created machines. He also helped with celebrations. When there was a big festival, Leonardo planned everything. He designed costumes, he designed stage machines. He created special effects. People were amazed. They had never seen things like this before. Leonardo also worked on statues. One of his biggest projects was a giant horse statue. The statue was for the Duke's father. It was going to be very large. Leonardo studied horses for years. He drew them. He watched how they moved. He wanted the statue to be perfect, but the statue was never finished. War came to Milan. The bronze was used for weapons. Leonardo felt sad. He worked so hard, but the project was lost. This happened many times in his life. Leonardo moved often. When one city became dangerous, he left. When one ruler lost power, Leonardo looked for a new patron. Leonardo worked in Florence, Milan, Rome. In each city, he met powerful people. Some people respected him, some people did not understand him. In Rome, Leonardo felt uncomfortable. There were many other artists. There was competition. Leonardo was older now. Younger artists were becoming famous. But Leonardo did not stop learning. He continued to study science. He continued to draw. He continued to think. Later in his life, Leonardo received an invitation. The invitation came from France. The King of France was called King Francis I. The king admired Leonardo. He respected his mind. The king invited Leonardo to live in France. Leonardo accepted. This was a big change. Leonardo moved to France when he was old. The king gave him a house. The king gave him money. The king gave him freedom. Leonardo felt safe. For the first time, he did not worry about money. He did not worry about war. He could think. He could rest. He could create. They talked about art, science, life. The king listened carefully. He saw Leonardo as a teacher. Leonardo brought his paintings with him. He brought the Mona Lisa, other important works. These paintings stayed with him until the end of his life. Leonardo did not paint much in France. His body was tired, his hand was weak, but his mind was still strong. He taught, he shared ideas. Leonardo looked back at his life. He remembered his childhood. He remembered Florence. He remembered Milan. He remembered unfinished projects. Sometimes he felt regret, but he also felt proud. He knew he lived a full life. Leonardo believed one thing. It is better to ask questions than to have easy answers. Leonardo was respected by kings, but he stayed humble. He never said, "I know everything." He always said, "I want to learn more." In the courts of kings, Leonardo stayed himself. Curious, quiet, thoughtful. He did not chase power. He did not chase money. He chased understanding. Leonardo showed the world that knowledge is powerful. Not only kings rule the world, ideas rule the world. Leonardo's life was coming to its final chapter. But his influence was growing. In the next part, we will see Leonardo's final years. We will see how he left the world, and why his name still lives today. Leonardo da Vinci was now an old man. His hair was white, his body was weak, but his mind was still strong. Leonardo lived in France. He lived in a quiet place near a castle. The king of France cared for him. The king respected him deeply. Leonardo did not need to worry about money. He did not need to worry about safety. This gave him peace. Leonardo spent his days slowly. He walked in the garden. He looked at the sky. He watched nature. He still loved to observe the world. Leonardo talked with the king often. They talked about life. They talked about ideas. The king asked questions. Leonardo answered calmly. Leonardo was no longer painting much. His hands were weak. But he still drew sometimes. He looked at his old notebooks. He read his old ideas. Some ideas were finished. Many ideas were not. Leonardo did not feel angry. He understood something important. Life is not about finishing everything. Life is about learning. Leonardo remembered his childhood. He remembered his curiosity. He remembered asking questions. That curiosity never left him. Leonardo also felt regret sometimes. He started many projects. He did not finish many of them. He wanted more time, but he accepted his life. Leonardo believed that mistakes are part of learning. Leonardo spent time teaching. Young people came to see him. They wanted to learn from him. Leonardo shared his thoughts. He shared his ideas. He told them to watch nature. He told them to ask questions. Leonardo believed nature is the best teacher. Leonardo also thought about death. He was not afraid. He believed death was natural. He believed life is a journey. Leonardo continued to think about art, science, nature. All of these were connected. Leonardo believed that everything in the world is connected. The body, the mind, the earth, the sky. Leonardo wrote his thoughts down. He wrote slowly, carefully. His notebooks were full. One day, Leonardo became very sick. He stayed in bed. He was tired. The king came to see him. The king held his hand. Leonardo felt calm. In the year 1519, Leonardo da Vinci died. He was 67 years old. He died peacefully. Leonardo was buried in France. People were sad, but his story did not end. After his death, his notebooks remained. His drawings remained. His ideas remained. People started to study his work. They saw how far ahead he was. Leonardo was not just an artist. He was not just an inventor. He was a thinker. He was a symbol of curiosity. Leonardo showed the world how powerful the human mind can be. He taught us to ask questions. He taught us to observe. He taught us to learn from nature. Leonardo's final years were quiet, but his impact was loud. His ideas traveled through time. They reached the future. They reached us. Leonardo da Vinci left the world, but his curiosity stayed. In the final part of this story, we will look at his legacy. We will see why his name is still famous today. Leonardo da Vinci is no longer alive, but his ideas are still with us. Many years have passed, hundreds of years, but people still talk about Leonardo. Why? Because Leonardo changed the way we see the world. Leonardo was not perfect. He did not finish many projects. He made mistakes, but he never stopped learning. This is one of his greatest lessons. Leonardo showed us that curiosity is more important than talent. He asked questions every day. He did not accept easy answers. Leonardo believed learning is a lifelong journey. He showed us that art and science can live together. Painting is not only beauty, science is not only numbers. They are connected. Leonardo taught us to observe. He watched how people move. He watched how nature works. He believed observation is the first step to understanding. Leonardo also taught us to slow down. He did not rush his work. He believed good things take time. In a fast world, this lesson is very important. Leonardo's paintings are still famous. The Mona Lisa is watched by millions. People still ask questions about her smile. The Last Supper still touches hearts. But Leonardo's notebooks are also important. They show his mind. They show his curiosity. They show his imagination. Many modern inventions started as Leonardo's ideas. Flying machines, bridges, human anatomy studies. He imagined the future. Leonardo taught us to dream. He showed us that one person can love many things. Art, science, nature. You do not need to choose only one path. Leonardo followed his interests. That made him unique. Leonardo also teaches us humility. Even when kings respected him, he stayed curious. He never said, "I know everything." He always wanted to learn more. Leonardo's life shows us that success is not only money. It is not only fame. It is growth. Leonardo grew every day. His legacy is not only his art. His legacy is a way of thinking. Ask questions. Observe carefully. Stay curious. Leonardo's story is also for beginners. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to be fast. You only need curiosity. Leonardo was once a child who asked questions. That child changed history. You can learn from this. Learning English is also a journey. Step by step, slowly, with patience, just like Leonardo. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed this lesson, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and remember, stay curious, keep learning, and never stop asking questions. This is the end of Leonardo da Vinci's story, but your learning journey is just beginning.